on the ground, but I really be jealous, cause I'm the right in their minds. In their minds, swear with me, boy, don't go crying. In their minds, come on, every boy, there's a fight. In their minds.
A pleasant afternoon to all. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. And there you go, ang ating game schedule ngayon po. First and foremost, ngayong araw, dito po sa Rizal Memorial Stadium, we have Loyola FC versus Philippine Air Force FC. All rivals meet anew. Philippine Air Force once spoiling Loyola FC's run to the title back in the UFL days. Pero kita nga natin ngayon, medyo iba ang panahon. Parehas nasa gitna halos ng table. Yung Air Force medyo nasa baba. But the teams again are fighting in the Philippines Football League for the first time. Dati nakita nga natin sa Copa Palino Alcantara. Hindi ka natin sabihin. But it's been a treat so far. We'll carry over also in this one. Later on, we do have the other matchups you see pictured. But let's look also, don't you forget, we also have games at the Dynamic Borromeo Sports Complex in Cebu to add to today's Rizal Memorial Stadium games. And we take a look at our league table. Kita nga natin to, yung Philippine Air Force ranked number 13. Ang Loyola FC ranked number 8 after defeating Philippine Army FC in a close battle last time. We will get there later po sa mga detalye ng ating game. And with the table again, must win ang itong sitwasyon because you cannot afford to be in the bottom. Binanggit nga last time, you have to be in your top 10 to be able to advance or remain dito sa Philippines Football League in the upper tier. Let's take a look at the previous results. Yan nga po, grabe, 4-3 thriller. 7 goals total between Philippine Army FC at ang Loyola FC. Let's see, will they be able to carry on their winning streak? 2 straight wins na po ang Loyola FC ni Coach Roxy Dorlas as we see. But we can jump over to Philippine Air Force. Medyo iba ang istorya po rito para sa Airmen. Pwede nga natin sabihin ni Staff Sergeant Erwin Oro. Air Force coming off a tough string of losses na po. Getting a win versus Tuloy FC but already losing 3 straight games. Kita nga natin dito, they are also scoreless in 180 minutes or 180 minutes or 2 games. Di pa sila umiscore. So kailangan din nila isolve ang problema na iyon. So would it be Coach Roxy, of course, being able to extend his winning streak or masasnap pa yung losing streak dito ng Airmen? As we are closing in on kickoff, it is a cloudy day dito po ngayon sa Maynila. We do have a threat of rain as we will take it over pitch side to Naj Miravalles to give us a report.
Hello, Claro. Thank you. I think both teams, ang pinakamalaking challenge nila today is their mindset. According to Coach Keith of Loyola, they have a tendency na kinukulang sila sa consistency and energy sa latter part of the game. Lalo na kahit na naging maganda naman sana yung simula nila. Having adult players daw who aren't used to each other, instilling the right mindset will take time. At para sa kabilang team naman, according to Coach Oro, their players get overwhelmed facing big names and international caliber players, kaya nawawala sa focus. And I think at the end of the day, these players need to do it for themselves. They need to have the right mindset or the growth mindset para rin sa sarili nila. And gaya nga ng sabi ni Coach Oro, dapat lagi puso, as I said it back to you.
Thank you very much, Naj. Great stuff from our 2 competing coaches with Coach Erwin Oro again dito para sa Philippine Air Force at kay Coach Roxy Dorlas and Loyola FC. Philippine Air Force do have that uphill task but are proudly one of the few all-Filipino teams in this league. Coach Erwin Oro was indeed proud. He did say that they are all Filipino. All Filipino ang squad nila. Well, let's see how that will stick. And just to look at it actually, yung mga all-Filipino squads natin, yung Manila Monte, Philippine Air Force, Philippine Army, at last but not the least, Tuloy FC. And we can say majority of them have been able to put up that fight, but this will be a battle again that will take it back. Loyola FC and Philippine Air Force meeting again for the first time on the league stage after the UFL days. Although do mind, nagkita din po ang Philippine Air Force and Loyola FC sa Copa Paulino Alcantara. But it's all different right here with the Philippines Football League, with the PFL on the rise, as we will take it to stadium announcer David Umol with our pre-match protocol.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let us welcome the teams of Loyola FC and Philippine Air Force FC.
This is it. We are about to renew another rivalry in Philippine football as we see our match officials. Si Samuel Mendoza ay ang referee natin. Sila Brian Buergo at Ismael Pasion ay ang assistant referees. Si Chris Mark Ranyola ay ang fourth official. Si Noel Marquez ay ang referee assessor. At si Karin Ann Kaliway ay ang ating match commissioner. Ang team captains naman po, nakita nga natin si Glenn Bolaquinia para sa Airmen. And Jorel Aristorenas here dito para sa Loyola FC. Handshakes done and dusted as we are proceeding to the final goalkeeper or goal net inspections. Loyola just running through their final warm-ups too. At check natin ang starting 11 dito. Si Jorel Aristorenas ay ang striker up front alongside William The Winter Soldier at Teddy Travis and Mauro Acot at will be in center mid. JV Calucaran and another important force at left back, Bernardo or Thirdy Closa playing right back para sa koponan ng Loyola dahil sa kanyang presence bilang defender. Javi Coscolwela rounds it up as the goalkeeper para kay Coach Roxy Dorlas. At lipat naman tayo dito for your Philippine Air Force FC or the Airmen. Is the usual suspects as expected. Pwede nga natin sabihin, expect the Delariarte brothers po to connect on the attack. And then they do have Obero, another important attacking player dito para sa kanila. One of the civilian players as we are told. It's a 4-4-2 formation for both teams. Yung skills ang magiging differentiating factor dito as we see William Winter kicks off this match. Your Philippines Football League weekend action underway once more. It's the weekend again. It's the moments that fans look forward to as this one was given away cheaply by Loyola. You cannot afford to make those mistakes against any team in the PFL. If you do, even against top teams, you will definitely pay the price. The Airmen try to get it pero nakuha ni Teddy Travis. Now over, we got David Asare, one of the center backs, as we saw in our formation. Promising combinations, but they were not on the same page. That was Jed De La Riarte and Dari Poderoso. Wade, he also did have Philippines Football League experience last time with the likes of Minjola. Asare got it over. Beaton. Ristorenas. We see that combination as expected again. Two Loyola players also before the team ceased its operations in the Philippines Football League, but it's perfect again. They brought them back. And bringing those players back who previously played for Loyola, of course, they embody that spirit. Pwede nga natin sabihin kasi nandun sila Coach James Hall, Coach Roxy Dorlas, Coach Kit Salangit. Nandun yung mga tao nila. At parehas din dito para sa Philippine Air Force FC. Nandun nga sila Coach Erwin Oro, who was also involved back in the UFL days. All smiles for Coach Erwin Oro when we were just naming the legends that Philippine Air Force have produced over the decades, and recently, of course, in the previous decade. As Javi Coscolwela will resume play. And this is Clara Manzano on call for this match alongside pitchside reporter Naj Miravalles. We're glad to have you with us again. And you were catching this game on pfl.org.ph, Blast TV, Premier Football, and Premier Sports. At na-delay yung atake dito ng Loyola. Closa, naghahanap ng kakampi. Binalik sa kanya. Over to the middle. Mauro Acot, Teddy Travis. Switch sides daw. Switch ang tawag dun. Kalukaran. Wearing the number 10 jersey as a left back. May license o lisensya si JV Kalukaran umatake o pumesto din sa gitna kahit left back ang posisyon niya. Kante. Will he channel his Kante again? Kante did score in their last game again. Check na natin yung goal scorers last game. It was 4 for Loyola, 3 for Philippine Army. Ang umiscore dun nga sila Kante, Winter, Frank Ano off the bench, Jorel Aristorenas, the game-winning penalty at the death. Two goals in the end in that game last weekend. That goal actually from Jalsor Soriano, if I recall correctly, leveled it in added time before Soriano sadly conceded the penalty, kaya umiscore po si Jorel Aristorenas. Kante. And we also saw Loyola was sure did get buried up by the physical Philippine Army FC. Mukhang alanganin doon yung throw-in, yung Air Force nangingin ng tawag, pero bumalik naman yung bola sa kanila. Pero yung clearance, pumunta sa paa ni Wade. Beaton. Beaton's mother, a Cebuano. Charlie Beaton often wearing Yancy at the back o sa likod ng jersey niya as a tribute to his late mother. His mother did pass away some time ago also, hence this tribute. Pero ngayong season daw, Beaton ilalagay sa likod ng jersey ni Charlie, hindi Yancy yung second name niya dahil may sakit na yung kanyang tatay. We all wish all the best, of course, to Mr. Beaton. At may counter-attack dito, Jed De La Riarte, binigay dito sa kanyang kamag-anak na o kapatid na si Jan. Nilabas na lang yung bola. At may corner kick at nagre-reklamo si Asare dito. At kita nga natin may corner kick, the first of the game. The in-swinger, nasipa nila. Pero nakuha ni Coscolwela, outside ulit. Corner kick naman sa kabila. Javi Coscolwela putting in the work. Will he make or get another clean sheet? 2 clean sheets this season for him so far. Walang clean sheet nga nung nakaraan kasi 4-3 ang score. At lipat naman tayo sa kabila ng Philippine Air Force para ma-discuss natin yung kanilang mga resulta. We just covered Loyola FC, so we will jump ship to Philippine Air Force after this corner kick. Only 6 minutes or so into this game already. Air Force looking dangerous with a string of corners. At ito na nga, pinasa. Nakuha ni Wade. Pinag-usapan nga natin ni Tito Dennis Lucindo. Pero mukhang di naman siya kamag-anak ni Dwayne Wade. Asari dito kay Beaton. Beaton the second best there. Kasi nakuha nga ni Gabriel Belgira ang left back. Pero dito muna daw siya sa likod. Well, sa gitna. Dahil nagka-corner nga ang airman kanina. And then look, 6 minutes into the game, we do hear Loyola supporters group Frente bringing that 12th man energy to them. And it's given them, or they look to use it in this counter. Kalukaran tried to split it there. Pero nakuha ni Belgira. Pero binalik ni Akot dito kay Cante. Cante kontra Delariarte, Jan Delariarte. Ang Loyola naman, yung may corner kick. It's now Loyola FC with the corner to answer back to what Philippine Air Force just did earlier. And it's no surprise, it's JV Kalukaran who has looked very dangerous this season for them. Kalukaran sends it in. Nakuha ng goalkeeper natin na si Mark Mendome. Parang kinakopya nga yung nangyari sa kabila. Corner kick sa kabila para sa Loyola. They played it short now. Gagamitin na yung bilis ni Beaton. Pero wala, may knockout play dun. Clearance dito. Kasi medyo alanganin nga yung pwesto ng Philippine Air Force. But it's now with Akot. Kalukaran sa kabila kahit left back ang kanyang posisyon. Naiwan na lang si Thirdy Closa sa likod. So now we do have time to run through the results of Philippine Air Force FC. At may 3-game losing streak na nga sila ulit. In their last 2 games, wala po silang goal unfortunately. Pero sa third to the last game, natalo sila 4-2 versus Maharlika Taguig FC. Ang umiscore doon ay sila Jan Delariarte at Angelo Obero, pero kulang. Medyo late na yung goals nila noon kasi nahabol nila yung laro. Tapos pwede ka natin sabihin, umuwi ang Air Force because halos lahat ng mga player nila or most of their players do or hail from the likes of Iloilo. So Air Force unfortunately lost to Kaya FC Iloilo 9-0 and to Dynamic Herb Cebu FC 5-0. Pero yung maganda dun, nakauwi yung mga servicemen natin kasi sabi nga ni Staff Sergeant Erwin Oro, tuloy-tuloy ang kanilang duty. After football, to duty na sila of course. And we could do nothing but salute the Philippine Air Force servicemen. Not just the football players here of course, but to the Air Force branch, and thank you for your service in protecting the Philippines. So of course it's football and juggling, or it's juggling football and service here dito para sa airmen. And we also did applaud and thank Philippine Army for their service to the Philippines or to the country in the previous game here. It just so happens they faced Loyola FC. Napaka-physical nga din yung mga dalawang military teams natin. As we say it though here, talo si Dari Poderoso sa mas matangkad na Alasan Wade. All-Filipino team nga ang Air Force dito, yung Loyola FC. Madaming Pinoy din at may mga konting import, pwede nga natin sabihin, or foreign player. Akot, couldn't get it. Kante, di rin nakuha. At dito naman daw, nagharap ng kakampi. Ito si Jan de la Riarte. Nasa gitna naman, ipapasa sa kabila, Listingio. Pero nanakawan siya dun. Nagmamadali. Or Loyola rushing, Asare. Getting floored. Holding on to his head right there. Let's take a look at the replay. Nandun nga si Antonio Albor Jr. At sinugod lang din ni Captain Glenn Bulaquinia. This is a tough stretch if you have to play the two military teams in succession. And that was exactly the case dito or here for Loyola FC. So when they wrap up this game, of course, they will be having a number of knocks here and there. As the military teams again bring that hard-nosed defense. But when you get your win, you'll definitely take it. Loyola taking the first one in their military series of games. Philippine Air Force again, bouncing back is the name of the game. As this is a concern because it's Asare's head. Mukhang nauntog pa siya dun. Pero mukhang may konting sunog din sa kanyang braso. Some turf burn possibly on the arm. But Asare was fouled despite being a center back because he was moving forward in hopes of triggering that counter attack. But he is on the pitch, so it looks like he will be fine. About 12 minutes into this game already. Kailangan manalo dito yung Loyola FC so that they could actually tie themselves with One Taguig FC in the table. One Taguig FC just one spot ahead of Loyola FC. If Loyola do fall, Maharlika Taguig will have a chance to pounce and overtake them again and comfortably get into the top 10 again. As we said in our previous broadcast that the top 10 teams will be retained in the Philippines Football League, and it looks like the others will be brought to Division 2 or established over there. As that free kick was unsuccessful, check na natin ang Philippine Air Force FC. A win for them will get them over to one spot up. Angat sila mula 13th place hanggang 12th place. And they will get to propel themselves over Gareli. You get the results, of course, you want clearance from the last place teams. Gusto nyo umangat, syempre. At may bola nga rito. Wade kontra Dari Poderoso, isang veterano ng football team nila. And Poderoso, one of the fixtures in this team. And I will say a thrilling player to watch. As Coscolwela got play underway again. We saw Jomar Listingio telling Loyola to play it to the wing as there's a foul again. It's against the airman Mauro Acot getting decked. Acot with stints with Cebu and Maharlika. He played his collegiate football with De La Salle University. At ito na ulit. Wade. Pero nakuha ni Obero sa kabila. Obero at si Beaton, parehas nga, mabilis. At nakay JV Calucaran ngayon. Still JV Calucaran getting floored again. Corner kick to Loyola. And the physicality of this one again, reaching rivalry levels once more again. With old rivals meeting anew. Once top teams in the UFL. Now we could say middle to lower teams in the Philippines Football League. The rankings, of course, will paint the picture. Loyola number 8, Philippine Air Force in 13th as we speak. Pero nakuha ni Mendome dun. Binato pero walang airman dun sa harap. Outside, babalik ang bola sa Loyola. mainly attacking now for Loyola FC. And let's see how this one will go again with the respective scorelines. Loyola scoring 18 goals this season. Loyola, but their defense has been an Achilles heel of sorts, but they do have a +2 goal difference. Yung Philippine Air Force naman, naka-5 goal pa lang ho ngayong season. 5 players with 1 goal each dito para sa Airmen. Ang umiscore, si Jan De Lariarte, si Jed De Lariarte, si Ronald Macasinag, si Angelo Obero at si Antonio Albor. At kita nga natin, nakuha ulit ni Mindome ang bola. Great distribution kay Mindome. Before Mauro Acot did change it up for the Airmen. They were trying to play Jan De Lariarte again. Jan De Lariarte playing on the left wing as of late. Nag-swap positions po sila ni Angelo Obero. Nung nag-umpisa nga ang laro at ang nakalagay sa formation si Angelo Obero ang left wing sa 4-4-2. At kita nga natin nauntog si Mauro Acot na naman. With Obero on the left, Jan De Lariarte starting on the right. Pero na-swap nga dun. Left goes the other side as Obero tried to give it to his co-winger. Pare sila wingman nga. Pwede natin sabihin dahil Air Force ito. As Acot gave this over to Kante. Kante was sure handled well by the Philippine Army troopers last game, and it was a frustrating one as we could see from his body language. Pero ang mahalaga, nanalo ang Air Force dun, or nanalo, sorry, ang Loyola dun versus Army. Will it be a sweep of the series again, or the military series for Loyola? We'll find out. They did have a week to rest and recover, about 6 days. Throw-in nga dito. Ang nagbato ng throw-in, si Abriel Belgira ulit, ang left back nila. And it's been that type of game for Philippine Air Force. They have not been able to hold on to the ball for long stretches. Nabanggit nga natin yung mga umiscore or yung breakdown ng 5 goals ng Philippine Air Force. Lipat tayo sa goal scorers ng Loyola FC. Ang leading scorers nila ay sila Jorel Aristorenas and Emmanuel Cante, 4 goals each. And right behind them, there's JV Calocaran with 3 goals and William the Winter Soldier with 3 to his name. Sila po yung top 4 scorers for Loyola FC in this season so far, as Travis will give it over to Closa. Mukhang nahirapan si Closa doon, 2-on-1. Long ball mula kay Jan De Lariarte, and Javi Coscolwela gets it. We could see some tension right now between Wade, as we see Javi Coscolwela pictured, and some tension between Wade and Jed De Lariarte. As they got it over to the middle, it was denied well. An old rivalry again. Also, one thing carrying on is Loyola supporters group, as this was headed over. Nasa gilid pa rin, Mauro Acot. Acot taking it, but it's no good. There's Mauro Acot, the man who just tried to get a crack on goal. About 20 minutes into this game already, still goalless, but we're glad to have you with us. This is Clara Manzano on call for this match alongside pitchside reporter Naj Miravalles. Aristorenas. We take a look at our possession. It's already at 66-34. Loyola using it to get forward well, or just getting forward, but they could tune up or tune themselves in the attacking third, as we have some showers from the looks of it in this game so far. And this will definitely cool down the pitch. expect cooling breaks to be at a minimal as we have confirmation of our possession again. Pero nakadalawang tira pa lang ang Loyola FC. Isa on target dun. Ito ngayon si Kalukaran. Definitely, he's not gonna score from that angle, but he did from the wing already. 2 shots up by Loyola, 1 on target as we see. Frente, the group or supporters group of Loyola we were just talking about earlier, enjoying the action. 0 shots pa rin ang Philippine Air Force. Passing accuracy also not there for Loyola, we could say, if they're the team with possession. Air Force just a tad bit higher, but also at a low 67%. Loyola at 62 only at this stage of the game, but we'll try to get another update there. But passing accuracy not going well for both teams. Both teams have had their respective numbers. Pinapahirapan. O ang depensa dito, pinapahirapan talaga ang opensa. Both cases, Loyola and Air Force, pero may chance nga dito. Nakuha ni Wade. We also saw confirmation of shots earlier. 2 fouls committed so far by the Airmen. 2 corners to Air Force, 1 for Loyola. And there's Angelo Obero. Looks like they'll be changing up their corner kick. Yun nga, si John De Lariarte talaga yung kicker nila. But Air Force looking dangerous in this spell. Attacking chances often limited for military teams, but we do know they make it count. They make do with what they have. Hindi sinalo ni Coscolwela, pero tinabig lang ata sa gilid. It's a red alert here now that Air Force is causing. Will they get cleared for takeoff? They do and they score, mind you. Or will Loyola shut them down and remove that spark from them? Kante. The Winter Soldier got it over to Aristorenas. William Winter has been quiet in this game to start. But will this be good for them now as Beaton was flagged offside? And Charlie Beaton also was a player who was marked in their last game. But for Philippine Air Force, they were crushed, as we said, conceding 14 goals combined in the last 2 games against teams with AFC competition experience in Dynamic Herb Cebu and Kaya FC Iloilo. But mind you, yung laro ng Air Force sa Cebu versus Cebu over at the Dynamic Herb Borromeo Sports Complex. They did hold Cebu and give them a run for their money. Pinahirapan ng Air Force talaga ang Cebu. Nanalo 5-0 pero late lang talaga yung mga goal ng Cebu, actually, yung Gentle Giants. But it's now to the back. Air Force will need to reset in this game. Kante, bibigay daw sana kay Akot pero nakuha nga ni Lestingio. Lestingio connecting well there with Rodolph Bebanco or Antonio Albert Jr., mind you. Mukhang nag-ikot o swap places din yung mga defenders ng Philippine Air Force. As we continue to have our showers right here. Not too strong, mind you. But this will cool things down even more. Di nga mainit kanina sa totoo. Now over, Beaton had to send it back. Asare. Air Force have been solid in that block as of late here, making it difficult for Loyola to get forward properly. And as we see right there, Kante couldn't connect. That pass was too strong from Loyola. Belgira from left back again. Glenn Bulaquinia, binigay dito pero nawala ni Bronda. Balak ng Loyola umatake, binigay sa kabilang 8. At na kay William Winter ngayon. Will the Winter Soldier prevail? And he does again! William, the Winter Soldier, doing what he does best. Cool, calm, and collected. We called him or named him that because of his name. But as justified there again, he's able to stay cool in tough situations. He started this game on the back foot. He stayed cool, he stayed calm, he stayed collected. And he just punched it into the back of the net. And we do hear Frente, the supporters group again, enjoying it because Winter is one of their homegrown or academy players. That's what Loyola has been doing as of late. As they should, of course, with how a football club runs. Racing players up through the academy ranks and getting them up into the professional level, as we see with the likes of William Winter. Yung mga ibang kasama nga dito na nasa senior team din ng Loyola, sila Hector, along with, there's also Hector, of course, whom we know. And there's one more player, mind you. Sorry kung nakalimutan ko. Travis Benelic sa likod. Loyola off now and controlling this one thanks to the scoreline. Air Force though in familiar territory, but it's now the time to be able to bounce back. And JV Calocaran gets it, running down the left. Nagmamadali siya. Aristorenas from distance. Enough to make the keeper work, but it was just off. And joining us already here, just to make our broadcast even more better, it is veteran insights. We've got Tito Dennis Lucindo back again.
That more better here, it looks to be a jab at that post we saw this morning on one of the chat groups about claiming that the Philippines is a basketball country.
Ooh, I think I saw that.
And not a football country. So, good afternoon to everybody, to all our friends and fans and followers of football out in the Philippines. That's a lot of F's right there, and you know, we did see that thread this morning claiming that the Philippines is not a football country.
I actually do hear people claim such things about every other day as of late.
Yes.
Madami ngayon.
So it's nice to join you today, Claro. You know, winter has come for this game.
Ah, yes.
Winter has come for this game, and I sat down just as Will Winter scored a goal. So good to see Loyola. You know, I hear it's been a challenging week for Loyola. It's good to see them score a goal.
With the goal of Winter, he's now in joint first place. 4 goals each. 3 players for Loyola have 4 goals each. There's Aristorenas, Kante, and now the Winter Soldier. Yes. As we see Akot down. And I was saying in the broadcast earlier, Tito Dennis, ito yung military series of games for Loyola. And they will be quite banged up afterwards.
They will have the wounds of war to show for it after having gone through Army last week and Air Force this week. And I'm sure they're lucky that Navy is not in the mix this season.
Para maging 3 teams nga, no? And we'd like to remind you that Star Polaris is the official match ball of the PFL. It's been holding up through the tough tropical weather as Travis sends this one in. And then Dome gets it again.
Good intent there for Travis, but the curve he put on the ball is going the wrong way. It was going away from the player. And that's Kante battling there and hurdling his defender to get a shot off, but a weak one. Didn't trouble Glenn. It didn't trouble Mendome that much. So the weather's improved, Claro. That's why we have we're back to our earlier start times. We're back to 3 o'clock. Heat index isn't as bad. We've got a bit of cloud cover. And, if you're a football player, these are the atmospheric conditions that you like to play in. Diba? Ayaw natin yung masyadong nakabilad sa araw. And maybe our viewers out there don't realize also how hot an artificial pitch can get under the baking sun. When the pitch is there and it's been under the very hot sun. If ever, not that I want to get a close look at these players' feet, but I'm sure their calluses from the past 6 months are wood-like.
Natutunaw yung infill, no, Tito, yung goma na nasa turf.
Natutunaw yung infill, and just the thought na takbo ka ng takbo sa turf na mainit na yung plastic blades, mainit na yung rubber pellets, it takes a toll on your feet. It really does take a toll on your feet.
And of course, we don't step on the pitch, pero there are times on hot days, pagdating natin, you could smell it actually.
Oh, you can smell it. It's not so bad now. I guess maybe a few years ago they've improved the material of the infill. I remember when artificial pitches first came into vogue in the Philippines, we had McKinley Hill.
Yes.
Which was one of the first pitches. And there, in a hot summer day, medyo nakakahilo when you step on the pitch, or if the wind blows those fumes towards you, you could literally see fumes rise from
yes.
the infill. No, and that I don't want to guess at what the health hazards of those things are. It's improved quite a bit. It's still not there where it's like real grass, because that's not just a factor of the blades and the infill, but also the underlay to the pitch. No?
If I'm right, there's also rocks, there's soil under this turf.
There's rocks, there's soil, there's irrigation. Sometimes there's rubber matting of some sort to give cushioning. Rizal Memorial is actually one of the better built pitches in the country. I mean, this pitch is now about 10 years old.
Yes.
If I believe, if I'm correct. And I do understand that the Philippine Sports Commission has a refurbishment for it planned in the next few months. We're looking forward to that.
I think the players are also of course, we'll expect pitch conditions to be somewhat close to grass of sorts, but we can't completely replicate it. I'm aware.
Nothing is ever as good as the real thing, but the PSC has kept it in good condition, and they're looking to improve it. So that's good for football. That's good for sport. There's a lot of football that's going to be played on this pitch this coming year. There's the PFL. There's national team matches up in the calendar. There's Shopee Cup matches in the calendar. And this coming June 4th, I believe, there's that international, it's a match between an Italian selection and an under-19 selection
of the Philippines.
Of the Philippines.
Right.
So, we invite everyone out there to come to Rizal. Entrance is free, but you have to book your tickets online if you go to the PFF Facebook page. The link is there. And that's sure to be an exciting match. There's some famous Italian names that have been floating around out there. I don't want to name them just yet, but they're familiar to fans of Italian football from the 90s and the early 2000s, and we've heard that these signores are in the region, and they just might be enticed to come for that match.
So not part of the coaching staff?
No, not part of the coaching.
Just to come and watch?
No. These guys might be taking the pitch.
Oh, okay.
Might be taking the pitch. One of the names I heard, let's just say there are 2 segments to his last name. The first segment starts with a D, the last segment starts with a P.
Okay. Let's let fans duke it out in the comment section.
Oh, yes.
Hulaan nila. Of course.
Yes.
We will greatly appreciate your inputs right there. But just to clarify, it's a U19, so these people coming back are older players from back in the day, right? So will they just be playing a bit in the exhibition, something along those lines?
We don't know.
We will find out.
We don't know. But me, as a fan from that generation, I would be happy to just see him lace up his boots, get a few touches, and see what we could do. You know, over the years, we've had a lot of these former EPL players come here. You know, there were the clear dream matches
Yes.
from years ago that we had. Who was it? The
Cannavaro, Scholes, Weiss, they all came different times.
Scholes,
Yes.
Weiss, yeah, but Scholes for me was the most memorable. And you know, we saw that even as a retired player, the quality of his long balls and crosses were still amazing, absolutely amazing. But let's come back to the action for a bit. You know, Air Force drove forward, didn't get anywhere near the inside of the box. And this Air Force team, again, like the Army team, very fit, although sometimes lacking in tactical imagination, attacking intensity also.
The thing with Loyola, in contrast to Coach Kit Salangit did say, start the first half strong and end the first half strong. Parang yan daw yung sakit nila in their previous game. So it looks like Air Force almost pounced on that tendency by getting forward.
I was taking care of some business up there at the start of this match, but I did see that in the first 15 minutes, Air Force actually got inside the Loyola box. Javi Coscaluela was challenged to clear out the corner. But talking about starting out strong, one change that Loyola made to this game is they started 30 Closa at the right back position. You know, in the last match against Army, I was very surprised and very proud to see 30 come in and put in a strong challenge against the Army guys. So, you know, Enzo and I were talking about it on the car ride back, and that's not really 30. I mean, he's a hardworking player, but to put in the strong challenges like that and against an Army team, and I was thinking,
And it is a goal. Slippery or butterfingers there from Mindome. He had in the gloves. I think Asar is doing the shrug that we do away from camera when we're messing with each other.
I haven't taken ownership, intellectual property rights on that Michael Jordan who me celebration.
When we'll look at it,
Oh,
Butterfingers.
that more than Indomit's shot, that was really the goalkeeper's error. There's no way, no how any keeper should let. It wasn't very strong. It bounced in front of him. He had sight of it. He had hands to it. But certain basics of goalkeeping, you know, you try to keep your hands together, your thumbs together when you're making that save.
like a triangle, right?
Like
That's
a
what I
triangle.
remember.
Yep.
Pero naging regalo here, sadly, for the perspective of the airmen, giving it away. Pretty much a gift, right, Tito?
That is very much a gift. That goal wasn't deserved. It really wasn't deserved. The defense was set. The shot was weak. Just went through the keeper's hands. Several things there. How his hands were positioned together. How his body wasn't completely beat. That was lazy goalkeeping, claro.
And with that goal, Asare becomes a new goal scorer now to add to the list. He becomes the 9th scorer of Loyola in this campaign so far. No, but with Closa, when with this play, it looks like they put him against Army to close out strong on defense, right? We were saying, and that's the reason I assume why he's called Mr. Tegas for his stellar play on defense.
Yun nga eh. No, that was
Winter skying it.
another snowball into the air from William Winter. You know, we saw him do it the last game. When you're at or inside that 6-yard box, that is the last thing you want to see. You don't want to see the ball being skied especially when a well-placed shot rather than a power shot would serve you better.
Literally at point blank range.
Oh yes. So Loyola players don't get as much range time as military men.
Right. The Air Force are still trying to get clearance for takeoff in this game.
Well, it looks like, Air Force's missiles are stuck on their wing.
Ooh. It's just a matter of pulling off those pigtails from the missiles. That's what I remember from documentaries, yes. And the weather, right, has improved over time. And as you said, I could feel the breeze. Dumating na din pala yung electric fan. It was moved over. Where it goes, you go, right? Oh, where you go, it goes.
Certain privileges, perks of the job. But it has been a breezy day, and it's days like this I wish I were out there
Yes.
playing football. I mean, because you get to maintain a higher energy level for a longer period of time. But energy level doesn't always equal intensity, and that's what we find lacking from this Air Force team. Really an intensity, really pride.
With Air Force, actually, Coach Erwin Oro actually believes in their capabilities. He said what he wants to give them, belief o tiwala. Yan daw kulang ng team nila.
We see that with Air Force. We see that with Army. We've actually seen that with a number of the lower third teams, right? And that goes to the argument that, hey, maybe at this point in time, it is the best thing for us to have a second division. Because while it is a learning experience to come and play against the top-ranked teams, sometimes losing every time you're out there is also quite debilitating for what you want to achieve long term. So a second division out there, and we for those who follow the different clubs, last week we saw posts from clubs like Filipinas Dragons saying that they're coming into the PFL. Club Forza, I think, has shown interest.
Wow.
Last weekend we mentioned Zamboanga as having expressed an interest, and the interest is out there, and they've sent messages and they said they want to join, but also something that needs to be further fleshed out is we see a shot there from Angelo Obero, challenged Javi Coscolluelo to dive down to his right, cover his near post, which he did quite well. A little bit of time wasting from Javi there. But as we were saying, the expressions of interest are there, and I think the PFF and the PFL acknowledge that interest. But the next thing that needs to happen is, what are the requirements for joining the second division? What are the requirements for staying in the first division? And those are details that need to be worked out in the coming weeks.
Of course, it's not just about winning and adding points, as we were talking about. There's a lot of stuff that really goes behind the football club.
There's a lot that goes behind the football club. There's also a lot that goes behind the league. For example, off camera, before the broadcast, we were talking about how the number of teams you have in the league factor into how many qualifying spots you get into the regional club competition. Right? I believe that number to be about 1/3 of your total population of clubs. So I think in the 2025 season of the regional club championships, we will see 5 qualifiers from the Philippines. So that's a good thing. But that has to be tempered with the need to have a more or less competitive field from your first to your 10th or 15th or 12th team.
Making sure it's not just the teams up there.
Yeah. Alam mo, hindi simpleng paliga itong nangyayari. Hindi simpleng paliga itong ginagawa ng PFF. Diba? Maraming mga sangkap na kailangan ihalo.
But just to add also, Tito, with the spots, what I do recall, the PFL got more spots also for the AFC competitions. 1 for Champions League, 2 for AFC Cup. That went to Kaya for Champions League, AFC Cup recently for Cebu and Stallion. I also understand that it was because of the ranking of the Philippines in the AFC club competitions. So there's actually some contribution there from Ceres, because I do understand that rankings is based on the number of years also. Parang may historic reference of sorts, my weight.
Oh, there are a lot of formulas out there, and more formulas that I care to compute when we're on the mic, Claro. But it's not as simple as being invited. It's not as simple as having a team. There are things that your team there are certain infrastructures your team are required to have. There are certain programs your teams are required to have.
And with you mentioning the Shopee Cup, of course, it's great. There's more international football here for Filipino players, Filipino teams. And then later this year, we do have the Mitsubishi Electric Cup.
The the men's team is going to have its friendlies in September and October and early November in preparation for the Mitsubishi Cup. And people also think team friendly, ano ba yan? Scrimmage lang ba yan? No, it's not. It's not just a scrimmage. Even friendlies, based on the rankings of the teams that go up against each other, also factor into your international rank. So, FIFA over the decades that it's been around has put a lot of systems and formulas and programs in place for these rankings.
Yeah, but of course, if you have good rankings, you do have a better seeding, or you're in a better pot when you figure in international competitions. And in line with what you were saying last week, when we also got to call a game, as people need to play more and more competitive matches to improve, as we have the halftime whistle.
So we're gonna go on a break, Claro. So take us to the 15 minutes we have between the halves.
So that does it for the first half here. It is 2-0 for Loyola FC over Philippine Air Force FC. The Airmen with their work cut out. William Winter finding the back of the net the 26th minute, while Asare found the back of the net behind a gift, we could say, capitalizing on the loose handles of Mark Mendome. And we will be back in a bit for your highlights and statistics. And we just saw our highlights, of course, to keep us company, but we'll go through the scoreline. Of course, it's 2-0 for Loyola FC over Philippine Air Force. We do see Asare and Winter as our goal scorers, the lead men for the moment. And we did see Javi Coscolwela have to put in the work. And Air Force is somewhat expected, started strong as we've seen them in some games. But Loyola, again, as their coaching staff did say, start the first half a little slow as we saw the first goal courtesy of William Winter, the Winter Soldier. As Mark Mendome was quite stable in this one. But unfortunately, he did commit an error. And that just allowed Asare's ball to slip into the net in dramatic fashion here. Unfortunate for the airmen. As we see here, there is the second goal, just laid off. Beaton giving it to Asare. Beaton, we could say, there was credited with the assist. 2-0 at this point in time. William Winter missed this one from point blank range. No good for the Winter Soldier. How often do we say that? But this was an error that was wherein Air Force almost capitalized. Asare just gifting that one. You cannot afford to make these errors again at this level, especially when you're facing higher ranked teams later on in the tournament. But we take a look at our statistics at the moment. Here's the numbers, and Tito Dennis, what would be your interpretation in this one?
Well, we were just, during the break, we were talking with Air Force's media officer, Bob Guerrero. And he was saying, there's really, our Air Force has struggled, and they lack quality. And I've always said, and I say this about Air Force and any other team out there, you can lack quality, but if all else fails, you need to have fight. And that's what Air Force has not shown in this match. Air Force has actually 57% possession. Loyola has been giving away the ball. And for that, they've not paid the price. Air Force has been able to get the ball in the middle. They've not threatened that much in the box. Loyola takes seven shots, 3 on target. One of those was really a dropped save by the keeper. So let's hope that Air Force regroups in the half and comes out much stronger in the second half.
45 more minutes to play as we will turn it over pitch side to Naj Miravalias to give us another report.
Thank you, gentlemen. When I spoke to Mark Mendome, he shared with me that one of the things that they need to address ay yung miscommunication. Dahil marami daw opportunity sila na nami-miss, lalo na on the offensive end. Ang hiling naman ni Coach Erwin mula kay Mark ay to be that second coach on the pitch. Sumigaw ng malakas and be the igniter for the Air Force. As I said, back to you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Naj. So Naj mentioned miscommunication in the Air Force, so they can't connect to the control tower.
Again, yes, they do need clearance, right, to make it to the danger zone, as we know. And we'd like to remind you, of course, that the Philippines Football League is powered by 8 Cuts Burgers. I actually loved our lunch today. I actually always love it.
Well, that coming early for our call time in the Rizal Memorial, that's something we all look forward to.
Oh, yes.
The packed meals provided by the Moment Group, so thank you very much for that. But something that we've also been looking forward to is Air Force showing what it can really do. I mean, I've been itching here to throw out some Top Gun references.
Oh, I don't mind.
They've been far from deserving of that. No?
Mm-hmm.
Air Force, of course, is in the bottom 5 teams of the league currently. And there's also some thought that's been put into, they're coming back into the professional ranks. Would they be better off spending a season or 2 in the second division than getting their feet or getting their wings under them, so they can take flight?
Mm-hmm. Or might be, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. But I do come from an Air Force family, actually. I would like to say.
Okay,
yeah, my grandpa was a pilot in the Air Force.
Well, Clara, you can be my wingman.
Oh, I don't mind here. Oh, anyway, the teams are coming out of the locker room already, and I've been saying it also in the broadcaster. I was also interviewed, actually, about the league from someone outside, from the far corner is his page. And I did say to play the best, to be the best, you gotta play against the best, of course. But of course, that applies to this season. But if it's gonna keep happening year in and year out, hindi pwede, of course. What I said, parang applies sa season nito. And with what you said, that's how they're gonna draw the line and see.
Well, to play the best, you got to beat the best. But also, if you want to be one of the best teams, you have to be playing your best regardless of the opposition. And we are not seeing that from Loyola in this game. Yes, they're up 2-0. But if they want to move higher up in the rankings, if they want to be a club with longevity and competitiveness in the first division of the Philippine Football League, they have to show that they're able to play at a certain level and maintain that level regardless of the opposition across them on the field.
Of course, just proving, you could say, that you belong in a situation like that.
We've seen that with many teams in many leagues. You know, in the UAAP, we also see that where top-ranked teams go up against bottom-ranked teams and they get upset.
Yes.
And you know, regardless of the experts pick Loyola 6 experts to 0 to win this game. But we were also expecting and hoping maybe that Air Force makes a game of it. So we've got 45 minutes to do that. They have 45 minutes of air time or flight time for these airmen.
If they win, they'll get to buzz the tower, right?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
There's JV Kalukaran pictured. Now with the conditions, will he come up with another trademark goal from the wing? We'll find out. Air Force again will try to re-establish things. Because going into this game, actually, with the pre-game talk, we mentioned that old rivals meet anew again. Two top teams again back in the day in the United Football League are competing with one another. But now it's under a different league, a full-fledged pro league, but under different circumstances because Air Force find themselves in the bottom, unfortunately. Loyola, a returning team, are making do with what they have. They find themselves in the middle of the table.
Well, gaya nga ng minsang sinasabi dyan, weather, or panahon. Nung mga nakaraang panahon, medyo kasibulan ng Air Force, kasibulan ng Loyola. Pero we're a good 12 years, 14 years from those times. How will these teams redefine their character in the new Philippine Football League? How will they redefine their character when we have true first divisions and second divisions? How will they redefine their character given the resources they have? I mean, because that Loyola that you mentioned, that was a Loyola that had the young husbands,
The Hartmans, Ref Quaresma,
great
yes.
Twitch, Sam Bonney, who's an excellent chef also, by the way.
Oh, I think I got to try his food actually.
Yes,
He's an assistant with
Ganyan,
Stallion.
Ganyan food,
Yes.
right? So Sam, if you're watching, you know what we want.
Because I was actually like the AFC media officer for Stallions game, dun yung Christmas party after. Umepal na lang ako and my staff. I love that actually from Coach Sam's food. Pretty good stuff. But we had some changes. We got to see Carl Bronda step off and Jan Estampador checked in. Air Force will try to just change things up. Patrick Salenga, another man who entered. Closa will try to set things or stabilize things at the back for them. Wade and Asare. No Mark Caguiwas, no Dwayne Wade's here for this afternoon.
So did you see that? Mavericks Timberwolves game this morning?
Haven't been able to really keep track lately in the NBA, but it's been wild. Puro upset.
Luka doing Luka things.
Oh,
You
no.
know, they were down by as much as 15-18, and then they were down in the last 20 seconds, I think. And he did his thing against Rudy Gobert. Switched off on him, and Rudy Gobert had no chance keeping up with Luka Doncic. And he hit a 3 to get them ahead.
Mismatch for sure in that scenario.
But that's with Luka Doncic and with professional players in the PFL. they're not the quickest players. They're not always going at full speed. No, there's full speed and there's pro speed. Okay, and we both watch the UAAP extensively, and hindi naman sa kangkarot yung laro nila, pero mas takbuhan, it's a bit more frantic.
Yes.
And we see the top teams in the PFL, they extend a bit more effort in controlling the tempo. The game tempo is different. It's not full out sprinting for 90 minutes.
There's a bit of that talent. There's a bit of that decision making and discarte
Yes, and
skills.
the key position to controlling the tempo is usually the midfield, and more specifically the defensive midfield, which for this Loyola team is someone you say is a very good singer.
Yes.
Teddy
Travis.
Travis.
The multi-talented. The link is on the
Okay.
Spotify link is on his Instagram, I believe.
Will Winter to Jorel Aristorenas, except Jorel's touch betrayed him there. He would have been better served to give the ball a firm push forward, but that went a bit too right.
Well, we saw it got quite heated between Jan De La Yarte and Travis, the two players wearing the jersey number 5.
Okay, so opposing fives and opposing fives playing the opposing 6 position.
Yeah, a little out of sorts.
And there's a thing also about numbers, no, Claro? I mean, there are certain positions that tradition dictates there's certain numbers.
Yes.
Diba? You have the center backs, which are usually number 2 or the lower 5 numbers. You have the midfield, which is usually from 6 to 9. You have the top striker, which is either a 10 or an 11 on their jersey. And
The one with the keeper, as we know.
and the keeper is the one. Either he's a 1 or a 12 or a 24. I mean, but I've always wondered how these traditions or how these protocols of numbering. Of course, seniority in the team dictates which number,
Yes.
your pecking order in the number.
Like Beaton, we see him. It's not often you see an attacking player, a winger, wearing the number 7. And then Manny Ott, a good example when I got to have him a long time ago on my podcast. Not a long time ago, just 2 years. As you see, Aristorenas trying to get in. Mendomi picked it up. So Manny Ott, why did you get jersey number 8? Oh, just because they go number 1, 2, 3, 4. And just so happens he's center mid, starting center mid. They gave him the number 8. He said he just stuck with it. An interesting though, Tito, madaming bata ngayon in like the upper levels of Europe working their way up. They have really high numbers.
Oh, because that's usually in academy setups, no? And we saw this in Loyola Academy, Kaya Academy. When they have their jerseys made and you have players of different age groups, you also don't want to overlap numbers, right? So usually the youngest age group, they get the highest numbers and they work their way down. And the reason for that also is that you occasionally find situations where players from one age group playing up at a higher age group if their size, athleticism, and ability gives them that opportunity. So when they get called up to a higher age group, they want to be able to use the same jersey.
Yes. But what's interesting is they're getting called up. They still want to keep their academy numbers, which I love. They're changing things up a bit in that cultural aspect. I find the high numbers actually, sorry, I don't know the better word. I find it very gangster. You know what I'm saying, Tito? American football, linebacker, wear the number 50.
Okay, well, high numbers with the substitution board, that's not a problem in football because
Yes.
that's when officials have to indicate a number and they just flip those colored tiles around, or in our case we use a digital board. They just press the right number. We see Mauro Acot winning a foul at a very dangerous area and a yellow card against number 44. That's a substitute who came in, Patrick Luis de Salenga, giving away a foul in an area where we see Charlie Beaton.
Clear hold down there on Mauro Acot. Down in the ground already. Still holding on to each other. First yellow card of the game, mind you.
First yellow card of the game. Might we wanted to have seen yellow card sooner or hard foul sooner? Again, if that's an indicator of fight, yes. For an Army team that's down 2-0, do we want to see them fight? Of course. Of course. So here on this free kick, we see Charlie Beaton who was standing over it, but also David De Asare posturing as if to take it as well.
Beaton taking it off the wall. But they still keep this one. They'll try to keep the fire alive. But it's now in the middle. They take it and it just sails over the bar. That shot from Emmanuel Cante again. Some clever play from Mr. Tegas on the right to get it to him there and to take that shot. Oh, it was Akot rather.
It was 30 Closa, who you fondly call Mr. Tegas.
I didn't make the name, by the way.
You seem to like it. You seem to like it, Claro. So, whatever floats your boat. But
If they accept it, I'll go for it actually. Katulad ni Winter Soldier.
nicknames are a thing that happen whether you accept it or not.
Actually, yeah. Actually, that was my reputation in high school.
You know, my nickname as a kid was Boogie.
Katulad ni Coach Boogie.
I don't know if we earned it the same way.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Again, and so mahaba-habang inuman yung kwento na
Oh, okay. So
kung
maybe
bakit Boogie.
a lot less, or maybe more slapstick there, of course.
Yeah.
Wade, we see some aggression from Philippine Air Force, but I don't think it's in that level that you're talking about, Tito.
No, the aggression sometimes is in desperation. I mean, we see the aggression in the defensive half, right? And they get the ball to the middle, then there may be a through ball to get to the top of the middle. But it's got to get past that. It's got to get, that aggression has to go all the way into the box, into the attacking third, which we've not seen yet. But they've won a free kick towards the corner of the box. That's probably not going to be a direct shot across. And let's see how how their attacking line attacks this cross.
In the game of Air Force actually against Maharlika, kita rin natin in that game, they scored 2 late goals, pero too little, too late. Parang naging wake-up call na lang, uy, lamang yung kalaban. Let's work hard. Scored 2 goals, but not enough. Because Loyola had to punch it out.
So, I mean, not the spot to take a direct shot on goal. Maybe he was expecting an attacker to come flying in and give it the header, but because Loyola punching it out, low cross, went through 30's feet. Could have been a handball there. Could have been a handball there on 30 Closa.
Air Force were asking for it, as we saw also.
Air Force were asking for it. We will have a replay. Ooh, my gulay. Oh, my gulay. That clearly went into 30's arm. But again, we are commentators here with the benefit of a replay. There is no VAR in our league. Will we have VAR in our league? Even that's up for debate. It might not be something that the league nor the teams will ultimately want. There's debate. There's been debate globally in foreign leagues. Most recently in the English Premier League, we see a vote initiated by Watford on whether the English Premier League will keep using VAR.
There's been a lot of that talk, even kwentuhan sa inuman on how VAR's been working well and how not. And one thing I've gotten, of course, talking to some players, they said, what if you could implement the tennis system where you have limited challenges and you can't just keep going in, and you keep your challenge if your call was correct, but you're not going to keep using it every time. So if your call is wrong, -1, you only have a few windows, maybe about 6 or 4.
Well, that would help with the argument that VAR interrupts the pace of play, right? Because you're going to spend 1 minute, 2 minutes reviewing the action. So that doesn't help. That might be a solution similar to American football, where the coach gets a limited number of flags, or even basketball, where there are challenges, and if you win the challenge, then you get to keep.
Yes.
the challenge. If you lose it, then you're done for the game.
As the shot was taken
30.
and in.
Sorry, that was Mauro Acot.
Similar
Mauro
hairstyle.
Acot with a rocket against the Air Force, bringing down the Air Force plane in a flying heap.
Copy kill.
Mauro Acot earning a rare start for Loyola and making the best of his opportunity. So I'm sure Mauro is going to be happy about that shot, and I'm sure his dad, Rocky Acot, who, if he's not in the stadium, I'm sure he's watching this telecast. Beautifully taken shot. Mauro Acot, former De La Salle Green Archer, former Cebu player also for a season or two.
He also did have a stint with Maharlika, actually, in the latter half of the season. But he figured in that stacked Cebu squad that performed very well last PFL, their debut PFL season. And they, in fact, did end up sealing a spot in the AFC competitions. So we see now 10 shots for Loyola, 3 only from the Airmen, as that goal was in the 59th minute, as confirmed by our crew. Air Force, Obero, binalik dito kay Salenga. Glenn Bulaquiña ang kanilang team captain nga ulit. Anong magagawa nila Bulaquiña? Dahil yun nga, lamang ang kalaban nila yung Loyola FC. They have their work cut out. How will Glenn Bulaquiña lead them out of this adversity? As we would like to remind you that Star Polaris is the official match ball of the Philippines Football League. And it's been able to hold up in the rough weather and tough conditions right here in the tropical, or in this tropical country, as we saw JV Caloocaran just be on the receiving end of that late tackle.
All right. So I was talking to Sabrina Nieras at that moment.
In that moment, we just saw Caloocaran get a tough challenge. Kaya may free kick tayo dito sa kaliwa.
So it's good to see Air Force putting in the tough challenges, but putting it when you're 3-0 down might be too late in the game. When there's still 30 minutes.
Played short here, Caloocaran trying to get inside.
Yeah. Well, that looks something that they rehearsed on the practice pitch, although JV Caloocaran uncharacteristically not executing it as it was drawn up. Taken short, and Caloocaran running down with it on the left side, but a poor control.
And also, Tito, we do have a message here. Referee Linjun Talaver, who is out for the season, unfortunately.
Okay.
He did strain his calf muscle, I believe, or his leg in that United City game. So he did confirm that he's okay in recovering. They're out now for the season, a speedy recovery. He wanted to say happy birthday to Linjun Talaver, actually.
Oh,
And asked us to give a greeting.
okay, Linjun is one of our senior referees, no, and he's been doing a lot of the matches here. But that's another form of injury that happens when you have a hot pitch. Diba? Your muscles get strained more, and the referees unfortunately don't have the benefit of the same PTs that their teams do. But they're running as much as the players are, maybe not as fast as the players, but they are covering distances.
They do the full 90 minutes,
They
right,
do the
Tito?
full 90 minutes. You don't have a sub. They have to keep pace with the ball. If you're one of the 11 players out there, if you're not part of the play, sometimes you can cheat and walk to your spot. Referees don't.
A goal ruled out by offside. The Airmen came close. Offside or a foul here because Javi
There's a
Coscolluela.
collision between Javi Coscolluela and an Air Force, an airman.
As we'll review it right here, Obero gave a promising cross.
Sure. Clearly offside. Oh, but
It's Dari Poderoso who is down and shaken up.
yes, both goalkeeper and attacker, I mean, apart from being offside, well within their rights to go 100% at that ball. So both of them hobbling up. Javi, of course, won't have to do as much running as Airman Poderoso. But sometimes these knocks, they affect the goalkeeper's ability to react quickly. Your muscles are sore.
Because Loyola is shaken up. He did take it short and just limp a bit after. But you were saying earlier, Tito, Dennis, about artificial turf and injuries.
Yeah, of course, heat makes puts a strain on your muscles, and of course our referees are. Oh, good low cross, Jarrell with a fake and too much of a fake. Maybe should have taken that shot from the top of the box, and that's why he was scratching his head at that moment and frustrated with himself at that decision. So JV Caloocaran, low cross. See there at that point, the first touch was a bit heavy. Had he kept it closer to his feet, he might have set himself up better for a shot.
And he would have become the outright leading scorer of Loyola if he converted in that scenario. But it's cruise control of sorts for them. The weather making it a bit tough.
Yes, Loyola on cruise control. And, at this point, we were over in the south yesterday, and I just wanted to thank Loyola parent, Miss Janelle Pernia of... you're from the south. So you're familiar with cheese rolls by Miss J?
Oh, is this the one in Molito?
The one in Molito.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely the best cheese rolls I've had. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you for the 2 boxes that I came away from. Made my trip to the south well worth it. Those 2 boxes were supposed to be our breakfast pastries for a week. But between Enzo and I,
Nobos na.
hardly lasted a morning.
You have some hot chocolate with that, Tito, with weather like this. Perfect. With the way my family introduced that to me, they were saying, "Uy, parang Portos to, yung sa
Exactly.
States."
That was exactly the peg that they went by. And how Pinoys, when they travel to the States, they say, "Oh, have you tried Portos?"
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like they say White Castle burgers.
White Castle burgers. Pwede magbagit ng brands, Tito. Pwede naman, no? In and out. I do know.
But nothing is as good as 8 Cuts.
Oh, that's the champion. As you see me standing up in approval. But can I say the last one already, Tito?
Sure.
The McDaniel family, Finn, Chandler, Olivia, Coach Clint,
Okay.
Tito Lindy, they do love yung chicken, Racing Canes.
I've not.
Made sure to try that.
I've not tried that, but another player down that looks like Teddy Travis, getting a knock to his legs on the far side. As long as his vocal cords are intact, he'll probably survive.
Kasi normally, mga artista have to take care of the face. So here you have to take care of the face and the vocal cords. Well, he's fine, of course.
Well, looking at Teddy Travis's face, okay, no comment. No comment on that.
I mean,
But what he did earn there was a cross, which Kante looks to deliver. JV Caloocaran taking a position there. Mauro Acot, Will Winter. Although, if it's a headed ball, Mauro won't be that much of a threat.
so we also got to see that Jan Del Ariarte was booked with a yellow.
Terrible cross, not getting past the first defensive guy, Jarrell, challenging.
And the rain is continuing to intensify bit by bit as the airmen are getting up with Jed in the middle, trying to direct traffic. But the likes of Asare will get it. Javi Coscoluela there just in case. But this game will really change up, Tito, with constant rain now. It will get even more slippery with the turf and more difficult for the goalkeepers, lalo na.
But that's good for the pace of the game. I was just looking at the right wing for the Air Force and wearing the number 9, and I kept remembering Araneta, Ian Araneta.
Yes, the legend.
The legend Ian Araneta, because he used to wear number 9 for the Air Force.
At later stages na yung 23.
Yeah.
See, Coach Erwin Oro, or Staff Sergeant Erwin Oro, just couldn't stop smiling when we were running through all the names because of Yanti Barsares, Ian Araneta, Chiefy Caligdong, Tats Mercado. The C-130, actually. They named him that, I remember, in the UFL broadcast.
Tats Mercado in goal, no? Was he
Yes,
in goal?
the goalkeeper. And of course, those guys would slug it out with Loyola back in the day with the young husband brothers, the Hartmans. You said there was Simon Greatwich, there's Ref Quaresma. Just so many names. Coach Roxy Darlas. But nonetheless, it's still great that they're able to preserve the heritage of their teams properly by competing here
You know,
amidst the difficulties, right? There's the
yeah,
challenges.
I remember those days, and I remember walking past the huddle of one of the armed forces teams against Loyola, and I could hear somebody saying, "Buburahin ko yung pagkapogi nitong mga to." Which is, again, all these things, all these expressions of grit and fight, you do like to see them. You do like to hear them. When the quality of football is not great, when you take everything away, it's your will to put up a fight that should be left at your core. And with 20 minutes left, still Air Force has not shown as much fight as we'd like to see. But take us through the substitutions, Claro.
So we do see Ian Chua, Rupert Banya, and Usman Siribe check into the game. So we did see Emmanuel Boris Cante step off the pitch along with 30 Closa. We'll just try to check the last man, and there you go. Mauro Acot steps off, and Rupert Banya steps in. Lasal out, Ateneo in that scenario.
Oh, Ateneo has always been in.
If a Loyola trains, of course, in my school, I will say. But
Okay, well.
Anos also here, also a former LaSalle player.
Isaac.
So there you go, the graphics running through it again just to confirm our changes. And there was Angelo Obero who gave a promising or delightful switch. But some traffic here, some chaos.
Fast feet from the Air Force man, and they get a goal for it.
Jan De La Riarte. Fast feet, treacherous conditions. Just dazzed past the opponents.
Wade looked to be stuck in the mud on an artificial pitch for that, but also, Javi Coscuela coming up hobbling, which might have around 3 Loyola defenders.
Just like running through the obstacle course in training here. Fast feet, a little tentative with the rain, but that's as fast as it gets in a cautious manner, it seems.
Well, it's good. It's good to see Air Force heeding our call to put up a fight and scoring a goal from that effort. Hopefully, more of it in the next 19 minutes of regulation for this match.
Jan De La Riarte burying his second of the season, but here's a chance now quickly on the counter, trying to bounce. But Javi Coscuela still continues.
Javi Coscuela still in the game. We're not seeing any Loyola backup keeper warming up. Off Will Winter getting challenged there by Mendome. Javi on the opposite side looks to be in some serious pain. Serious pain, but still looking to the warm-up area. No backup keeper for Loyola.
Yes, no movement here, which is a little surprising given the situation of Coscuela. As we look at the counter right here, it was taken by distance over by Jed, yung kapatid. As Coscuela rushes out. Flag was up already, offside, but he got it just to be sure. There you go, that's how we end up with Coscuela.
So the other De La Riarte taking his chance from long range, probably seeing that the keeper was struggling a little off his line, and that shot was not far from target. That was maybe a meter above the bar, hitting the roof of the net.
It sailed over the bar in that scenario. As it looks like They try to play that long given the conditions, the pitch. Of course, now that it's wet, it will slow down the ball a bit. Kalukaran contra Obero. Aristorenas.
Quick reaction by Aristorenas. Nice dummy.
And this one now on the right, Ian Chua. Got his pocket picked, or it was poked away. May throw in ng Loyola dito. Less than 20 minutes before additional time for the Airmen to catch up, or for Loyola to at least hold on. Two players taking a fall, and the linesman raises his flag. Some confrontations here.
Yes, that. Well, okay.
It's Sidibe for Loyola.
But Sidibe was the one in front of the Air Force guy, fell on top of him, and yet, who was okay? The referee calling the foul from Sidibe. And maybe the Air Force, the Air Force man taking a butt to the abdomen
And
as a result of his challenge.
pulling down Sidibe by the shirt.
Pulling down
at that
Sidibe and
time.
paying the price for it.
That's not often we say that, though.
Well,
And it happened already. Nangyari na. Of course, with Air Force showing that grit bit by bit that you were looking for, Loyola will definitely not back down. No team will back down, of course, to the challenge.
well, maybe getting wet from the rain brings out the gremlins in the... brings out the fighting, gnashing gremlins out of the Air Force players.
There you go. Rain might be the magic, but they'll swing it in now. And it looks like it's good. Confirmation. JV Kalukaran
with his left foot,
from
curling it in, the ball going sideways in the best way possible, beating Mark Anthony Mendome. Again, you know, Loyola and these acute angles. A keeper should have done better there.
But
Fingers outstretched for that.
we call that JV Kalukaran range for a reason, with all the goals he scored
It is,
from the wing.
but there's a bit of criticism that should go to the Air Force goalkeeper there. I mean, the ball was in the right side. I felt he could have been covering his near post a bit better, because the shorter distance is towards the near post, right? So the shorter distance gives you a shorter reaction time. So as a goalkeeper, that's where you should orient yourself towards. And he did not have that adequately covered.
And that was not scoring range. It was more of a place to send in a cross.
Yes, sending across, hopefully that a teammate gets a header too. But JV Kalukaran putting some pace, putting some swerve to that shot, getting it significantly around the wall. So, you know, not taking away anything from JV's ability, but the keeper should have done better there.
And with that, Kalukaran with his 4th goal of the season. He's been one of the consistent players so far. So it's 4 goals in this scenario. He scored against Garelli, Manila Digger, Manila Monte, and now Philippine Air Force.
So with his 4th goal of the season, he delivers the 4th goal for the Loyola.
Beaton couldn't get it.
So what's the Loyola spirit animal these days?
I'll try to take a look now, actually.
Because they used to be called the
Sparks, right?
Well, the Sparks are
the Wolf?
the Wolves, right?
Yes.
Because that's really coming from inspirational talk that their former owner, Randy Rojas, liked to give about the wolf and the pack.
I think I know this one, but it says here the Grey Wolves.
Okay, the Grey Wolves. So the crest of the Loyola FC comes from the crest of the Ateneo de Manila University, which is also a significant crest in the Jesuit order. So if you take a look at that crest, you will see 2 wolves holding up a cauldron. That's what this. They're not dancing to the tune of Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball there. That's a cauldron.
That's how they got the Grey Wolves. Is that right?
Maybe that's how they got the Grey Wolves, or maybe from Randy's talk.
We can actually check with the Frente boys right here. As there's a whistle on the ground,
Why are they called the Frente?
I think that had to do with fire also, actually.
Okay. What I
That's what they
know
were saying.
what I know of Frente is that singer. There was a singer named Frente.
This is back in your time, Tito?
Yeah, I forget the title of the song, and I'm afraid to hum a few bars or sing
Oh.
a few bars.
Well, don't you forget we're live. Baka ma-spot ka. If you get pirated, well, we can't afford to lose you here, as we know.
So to everybody out there, if you remember what hit it was that Frente sang, feel free to comment it. That's Jarella Ristorenas. Takes a shot that goes over the bar. Feel free to comment it on our Facebook Live or our streams on pfl.org.ph or YouTube.
And the supporters loving it. The time taking bit by bit. We saw Air Force again raise their game. But again, it was after conceding goals. Not that kind of wake-up call, of course, that they're looking for.
We also see Charlie Beaton's taking a more central position, coming in as a midfielder, a central midfielder. After Mauro Acot went out, usually Charlie Beaton more on the wing. Rupert Banya here on the left wing.
Travis.
Poor pass from Teddy Travis. Intercepted.
Yes,
But
it's
more
now,
given.
it's with
given
Jan
to
de
the-
la Riarte.
Jan de la Riarte.
Now in the middle now, they'll give it over to the right side. That's by Eric Mauring, one of the subs again who entered the game. We do have a pair of subs waiting in the wings for Loyola. But Air Force will try to get something out of this spell of possession where they look quite dangerous.
Okay, there's this. It's my first time to see this big Korean-looking fellow, number 6.
That's Kim Sung-min, and I also know that he was their coach actually in the Copa. So they're in need of a veteran presence in the locker room, someone who could also guide them, and that's why he's here right now. But he's inserted late into the game as Frank Ano comes in. Now, the question is, Tito, will we see another somersault or will Air Force launch another plane into the sky?
So Kim coming in for tiny Teddy Travis. Kim looking like a big fellow, medyo bonjing itsura. But
You might have just given Teddy Travis's nickname dito sa Philippines circuit.
tiny Teddy Travis.
Yung kabila naman sa Digger, si Big Boy Jata. Sa Lifu Big Boy Jata.
A lot of big boys in our league also this season. Claro, that speaks a bit to the changing physical makeup of what a football athlete is. You know, back in the day, 80s, 90s, players were a bit on the smaller, shorter, stockier side. You know, when you had your Maradonas and then, you know, Roberto Baggio, not that big, not that tall. You know, you had a few tall exceptions like Paolo Maldini. But here in this league, you know, they also put a lot more time into the weight room. And that's not something, it used to be that lifting weights was anathema to football players. They would think that, you know, if they do too much leg, they're going to slow down. And if they bulk up, and Javi Coscolluela bravely challenging, paying the price for it, coming up hobbling, goes down on one knee, has to get back up again. Because there's an attack. And that shot from Ronald J. Macasinag, just inches wide of the right upright.
Lovely run to get up there. Coscolluela just doubling up the effort.
Lovely run, but that's just willpower getting Javi up there because he's been operating on one leg for the past 20 minutes. And these long, oh my God, he's taking these long kicks also. And that's going to hurt.
And just to look at it, Tito, they do not have a goalkeeper actually listed in their team sheet for today.
Well,
in Loyola.
That's something to look. You know, that's something to look into, Claro. I mean, because their former backup goalkeeper well, not former, but they do have a backup keeper who played a rather iffy game against Manila Digger. And if he's not on the lineup, there's a story there. And, you know, these storylines with player lineups, with practice pitches, with if you track the various football discussion boards, there's some things going on with other teams about players getting paid and the coaches leaving the team. There's a lot happening out there. And it does affect on-pitch performance, of course. Ouch!
I felt that there.
Yeah,
As you pointed out, that
you know,
challenge.
that was premeditated. Gave his perfunctory apology to Jorel Aristorenas, did Kevin Jan Estampador. Estampador pangalan niya at inestampahan niya si Jorel dun.
Oo nga eh. And that's why I really felt that one there when we saw it coming.
You felt that one there, and you 2 steps away you saw it was going to happen.
Exactly.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Through ball attempted at Rupert Banya. To Rupert Banya.
No good there
Too strong.
for him. And si Kuya Linjun did say thank you daw sa greeting natin sa kanya.
Si Kuya Linjun, one of my favorite referees, si Linjun. And because we also see the refereeing community is a very small one in the country, and of course we'd like to see it grow also. And I was just talking with Kome, our beloved Kome, Coco Torre, yesterday. Parang sa akin, sabi ko, I would love to see the day when professionals, executives, professionals, or managers, or people with jobs elsewhere also take up the refereeing vocation, as they do in Europe. Diba?
We do hear of stories like supposedly a fan comes in and helps the game as a fourth official, but that's because he was a referee who was off duty and helping out. Because we did see how the referees responded very well.
Yes.
And
And,
Kuya
you know,
Linjun got hurt.
It's fine to take it as your weekend vocation. I mean, because for many of our professional players, yes, this is a professional league, and yes, they are professional players, but many of them do have day jobs. They have day jobs because the reality is, you know, there's not millions to be made as earning a salary from a professional team when that professional team does offer a salary. Let's call a spade. You know, the top teams, they do pay more than certain teams. Of course, the armed forces, they pay whatever their mandated wage is if you're an enlisted man, and based on your experience and rank in that service. But you know, if players can be part-time players, so can referees.
And of course, with no referees, no game here.
Yeah.
Given that this is played at the high level, of course, all tournaments A to Z, kailangan talaga ng referee. And when you were talking to me about competitive matches, hindi kasama yung mga friendly o tune-up game lang dito. It's about having the officials, having a score, having a team trying to put one over you.
Sa ano,
Kasama yung ref.
pinapangarap ko yung araw na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas, our equivalent of Pierluigi Colina. Di ba? Yung sa tingin, kaya kang daanin sa tingin eh. Di ba? You know, Pierluigi Colina, that Italian referee, the tall blonde guy, the tall bald guy, that his stare could melt a battalion.
It's just the respect that they command with their presence, no?
Well, their presence command respect, but also their track record. I mean, if you develop a reputation with the players as being no nonsense, and as we see, that is number 32, Frank Isaac Ano. No run up for a somersault this time.
Must be the conditions.
Maybe the conditions. Very muted celebration, but you know, giving respect to the Frente 17, looking their way and celebrating his goal. So Frank Ano's second game on the pitch, scoring with every time he takes the field. Very calm finish. with the inside of his foot. Goalkeeper unable to drop quickly to his right side.
Just outrunning the defense there. Ano inserted fresh legs relative to everyone else. And he knew the drill, just outrunning everyone.
Outrunning, outworking.
And when we were discussing referees, yung tingin pa lang and things like that, there's Simon Marciniak, the man who officiated the Men's World Cup final. It was in the 75th minute where I said to myself, parang enjoy kami sa game dito eh. Walang mga problema, hindi nagre-reklamo yung mga players. Oh, referee stable, referee consistent. And of course, there's a reason why they got him to ref the final.
Yeah, you know, when players also, as players develop reputation, so do referees also. When players see that, you know, these referees are calling it as they see it, and they're very rational in their calls, they earn respect. And there are referees that have done that.
And a salute, of course, to our refs for always, or for their service here to the game.
The referees, of course, also outfitted by our friends in Kelme, and the referees have told me off camera that, you know, they like this Kelme apparel. It's vented in certain parts, so magaan daw sa balat, which really helps them in these tropical conditions.
I actually did get to hear from the PFF that when the national team was outfitted by Kelme, there was positive feedback from them. They really liked it.
Yeah, Kelme, I think at the time was the outfitter of the women's
Also,
national
yes,
team.
men's and women's. As they run through now on the side, Sidibe was dispossessed. And it looks like this one's done and dusted. Tito, 5-1.
Well, miracles do happen, but not 4 goals in 3 minutes. Air Force taking 1 goal away from this game. What lessons there can be from that?
Have to be from their consistent play, because they did show some signs of promise again. As they throw this one forward, Makasinag tentatively trying to get in. The defense got to recollect themselves. Wade with the clearance. It will stay with the airmen as we have a change. We've got Darwin Busmion checking in for Abriel Belgira. Oh, Busmion, a former USD Golden Booter, actually. Just like Rupert Banya, nung naglalaro sila sa UAAP, nandun din ako, panahon ko, covering for my school again.
Well, yun yung mga kabatch mo, di ba?
Right, yeah. Kabatch, or maybe there's some guys, senior sila sa akin, but while I'm covering UAAP, they're playing for a school.
You know, Clara, I've been seeing you around football for a couple of years. I always thought that you were in your 40s. Not because you look old, but because you carry yourself like a tito.
I actually get that. And I talk to some people, ang formal ko daw mag-usap. I was like, I don't know. My dad said just talk to everyone with respect. So, dating ba?
You're a proper reserved Southridge boy.
I guess I'll take that as a compliment. You know, I just realized also kasi inaasar din ako ng kuya ko.
Okay.
You know what Kendrick says? Bunso siya, I'm the middle.
Okay.
And Kendrick said, oh, we were just talking a little about brotherly competition when the Akot squared off against each other. With
So,
Akot.
you're being a middle child. You must be grateful that your kuya acknowledged that you exist.
I think so. So, binibiro ako. He goes, oh, Clara, you know, whenever I meet people, they think I'm the older one. Wala na. Sasabihin ko lang, Tito, now they go, oh, siya yung commentator, di ba? Gumaganon na lang sa kuya ko.
That's gonna be offside. That's gonna be offside for Frank Ano.
That's not the reason why I did commentating. Salamat na lang nag-iba. Na-overshadow na yung, oh, younger brother looks older than an older brother. Not the case. But it's a treat, of course, enjoying sports with the family. That's how we grew up. And seems like the same for you, Tito, with your whole family, enjoying the games.
Well, you know, I have enjoyed taking the field once in a while with my son Enzo, who's our lead stats guy, and he did he did grow up in football. I mean, I would take him to Sunday games ever since he was 2 years old, and that's how he picked up the game, just kicking on the sidelines. Back in the day when we had the privilege of playing with guys like sila Anto Gonzalez and Ariel Zerudo, Andrew Santiago in our club back then, the Lateo Football Club, which you would be surprised to hear from me is a bit of a safe zone for Ateneo and LaSalle alumni. That's why it was called the Lateo Football Club.
Okay.
LaSalle and Ateneo.
I also heard one, nag-Sunday League din yung mga LaSalle Ateneo players. Early 2010s, tawag daw Never United. Kasi
Never.
LaSalle Ateneo.
Bakit never united?
I think because
Never
rival
united.
schools.
They were
yeah,
never.
never.
They could never be united.
I heard that from my cousin Greggy Yang, actually, one of the former players. Pero di siya sumali nun. But there you go, the full-time whistle. A difficult one for the Airmen. A similar script to their other results, as we do see Frente loving it. But sadly for the Airmen, their losing streak continues. Javi Coscolluela seems to be in relief, but also in some pain as we talk about it. But relief, because the match is done, he gets to recover. But because Loyola FC get another win here, a big one, 5 goals to stamp themselves over the Airmen, or Philippine Air Force FC. The numbers here, of course, the Loyola did rack up the shots and eventually converted. They did pounce, of course, on the difficult day of Mark Mendome, ang goalkeeper ng Airmen. But there you go. We do have Winter Asare, Mauro Ako, JV Calucaran, and Frank Ano. Just the goal count though, walang somersault. But we do have also in a scorer in De La Riarte, Jan De La Riarte, finding it with an effort that just dazzled us with his skills. But there you go, Tito, what do you think of this game?
Well, we've just gotten word that for this match, the man of the match is none other than their left back, JV Calucaran. Frankly, the match was okay. We were expecting Air Force to put up a bit more of a fight, but Loyola showing their quality with what seems to be a depleted lineup for them. Props also to their number one, Javi Coscolluela, who soldiered on for 30-40 minutes playing hurt, conceding only 1 goal in that space. It looks like he had no choice but to do it because he didn't have a backup keeper on the lineup. We will look more into the reason why that is and update the followers out there as to why that is. But congratulations to the Loyola Grey Wolves for this 5-1 victory, and congratulations to JV Calucaran for earning another man of the match mention.
And Loyola in the process secure or solidify their push in making the top 10. They secure 8th spot as they improve to 12 points now and are behind one Taguig on goal difference.
Okay, and if your stats read right, that means they have a game in hand against Taguig. I mean,
Maharlika, right below.
Loyola FC are 6 games played, and they have 9 points,
Yes,
right? And one Taguig have played 7 and are on 12.
Yes.
So mathematically, Loyola could catch up to Taguig by 12, further securing their spot in the top 10.
Yes. So of course
Loyola,
we add the 3 points here to the tally of 9.
there we see Loyola giving tribute to the few, the proud, the Frente over there. But it looks like the Frente's numbers are growing. And props to them, props to everyone who makes an effort to come to the games. I mean, the games have improved in terms of the broadcast, but football is one of those things that you gotta be here in the stand. So come on, guys, come on over to Rizal. There are 6 games a weekend that you can come and watch. $150 goes to your favorite team as long as you declare it at the door. Doors are open every weekend and will be open until July 14 when the league's scheduled to end.
And just to run through the game schedule also, we have Stallion and Digger squaring off later on as we will take it to Naj Mirabales with our moment man of the match.
Thank you, gentlemen. Here with me is our man of the match, JV Calucaran. Hello, JV. Congratulations. Great effort today. How do you think you guys were able to convert those goal-scoring opportunities successfully?
I think we played well, but it's just I think we could have been more efficient in front of goal. I'm not so happy with our efficiency, and especially the way we attack. And just the way we build up, getting to the goal, I just feel like it could be much better. There's still a lot of work to do.
JV, other than consistency, Coach mentioned that he wants consistency from you guys. How did you address that this game?
I think we just focused on the defending first, because in the last game, we had a lot of relapses. So this game, we just focused really on just the consistency of defending and making sure that we're solid in the transition. And then I think the attack will speak for itself after that.
Thank you, JV. Once again, congratulations. Back to you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Naj. Once more, our moment man of the match, JV Calucaran. And
You know, I really appreciate how JV not just spoke of the positives for his team, but also the things that they needed to work on, the things that he wasn't happy with. JV, we appreciate you for mentioning those things, and I appreciate you, Clara, for another opportunity to sit beside you, share the mic with you, covering a game on this beautiful day for football. I mean, to some people it's overcast, but to football lovers, these are the conditions.
thank you very much, Tito. It's been a pleasure, of course, working and learning from you. But we'll sign now from game number 1 before we carry on to Stallion versus Manila Digger. And a big thank you. This was Clara Manzano on call for this match alongside Tito Dennis Lucindo with pitchside Naj Miravalles, direct Francis Hopilio. See you from this one, but we'll catch you in the next game.
Always trying to put me down on the ground, but I never be jealous, cause I'm the right in their mind. In their minds, screw up with me, boy, don't go crying. In their minds, come on, every boy, there's a